And now, without any further ado, our next presenter. Are you ready? Let's welcome them to the stage.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Krishna MANDA.
And I'm Jacob Kropf.
And we are Ramisetty Ramakrishna, LLC. We know it's hard to pronounce, but you'll get through it. Now, we're here today to save 1 million lives.
And really, that is a very bold statement, and I'm sure similar claims have been made before. But the reality of the situation is, every once in a while, there's a special product or special idea that comes along that has the power to change the public opinion of an entire industry. And we feel very honored to have had, we feel very honored to have had part in developing some technology like this today. And the technology we're here to introduce to you is Seamless.
Now, before we get into the problem that Seamless addresses, I'd like to give you a small history lesson. Over the past 50 years, or over the past 100 years, automotive safety development has led to the invention of cruise control, seat belts, ABS, airbags, traction control. But the truth is, these inventions don't really address what they are supposed to do. What is wrong with them? Even after all these are standard in our cars today, 3,500 people die on a daily basis. That's equivalent to a 9/11 attack happening every single day around the world. And if you take this statistics and you look at the numbers, you're shocked because a third or 2/3 of this number comes from third world countries. For example, let's take India and USA for comparison. US has 4 times more cars as compared to India, but India has 6 times the deaths per year.
And of course, the biggest names in the industry have taken these staggering numbers and tried to do something about it. They've taken the initiative to introduce technologies that can help reduce these numbers to more acceptable levels. So, some of the biggest names in the industry: Volvo has Volvo City Safety, Mercedes has Mercedes Driverless, and Audi has Audi Connect. Now, there are many other names in this industry that are producing technologies, putting their own spin on things to be able to address this problem. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of them rely on only one condition to give you one result, and that leads to a very specific system. It doesn't take a lot into account before it makes an action. So some of these systems, the leaders, Volvo, Mercedes, and Audi, are trying to take the next step and take more into account before they make an action and risk somebody's life, of course. So even still, the leaders of the industry have their problems. Since we're trying to test these things out, we're trying to make our own spin off of this, we're trying to make our own technology. The first thing we notice when testing these vehicles ourselves is the user-friendliness. Now, some of these things, when you're in a situation where there is an impending collision, you have a lot of things racing through your head and your heart is racing. The last thing you want is for a system that's supposed to be saving your life to abruptly slam on the brakes and, you know, essentially throw you off guard and shorten your reaction time so that you aren't able to adequately react to the situation. So, a big fault. Furthermore, adaptability. The tactic of every big name in any type of industry is to put their own spin on things. They need their own feel, and so they make it specific to them. And so when you're going from one car to another, if you're trying a new car, test driving it, or even driving a family member's car, you're going to have to adapt to a new system. And since this system is supposed to be saving your life, having to adapt to it, spending several days, even a month, getting used to it again, could be detrimental. Furthermore, looking at the fact that they are specialized, each one, it seems, only addresses one problem. Volvo City Safety only stops low-speed collisions in normal traffic. They have Audi Connect, which simply connects with other vehicles and tells you exactly what they're doing. But each one has their limitations. So we tried to introduce something that would fill the gaps, fill the void that is left by some of these other systems. We want to be customer-inspired. A lot of these companies expect you to adapt to their systems to be able to use it to the fullest potential. We want to change that. Our plan for research and development is to introduce a product to beta testing, do a lot of advertising, get a lot of customer feedback on exactly how it feels, how it makes them feel. Because in the end, the consumer is the important one, not the company, not the brand feel. We want to have something that feels natural to the consumer. Furthermore, we want to make it universal. We plan to market this to a lot of the companies out there that don't have their own crash avoidance systems. And because of that, you'll be able to drive whatever car you want, and hopefully our system will be available. You'll be able to use the same exact system. You have the muscle memory and the understanding, the comfort for, be able to use it to the fullest potential. Furthermore, we want to make it versatile. There's no point in buying a system that only has one use. You don't want to have to carry an entire tool belt with you on the road. You want to have one tool. We want to give you the Swiss Army knife of crash avoidance systems so that it can solve any situation, any problem that you have.
Now, of course, you might be wondering how we're different from other companies, and but the truth is that we have the power to conquer uncharted territory. All these systems that are built in first world countries such as US and Britain, they fail in India and other places, especially because they rely highly on infrastructure, as to which many of these countries lack. Our system is smart enough to go past just one reliability. It has a whole array of systems that it relies on. It understands and feels the traffic. You can put it there, and it's like a baby that grows. Now, here's the beginning of seamless. Play.
We'd like to open the floor to any kind of questions you guys have.
Yes.
That was so cool.
Thank you.
I always thought, how the heck can we be living in this era and not have something like this? So that's really, really cool. So just right there, I guess the technology kind of diverts you from getting, or colliding with something else. Yeah. Now, does it cause you, how does it keep you then from trying to divert one collision and then possibly causing or falling off a cliff?
Yeah.
Trying to divert the dog that crossed the road.
Because of our system is super complex, so we couldn't compress it in 6 minutes, honestly. So to give a full presentation, it would actually take an hour. But still, to address the question, we have designed a system. Unlike most of these cars, they usually use LiDAR system, which is laser. I don't want to go into extreme details, but it uses 1 or 2 sensors. We have an array of 9 sensors at the minimum, and it can go up to 18. So basically compensate for every single situation. The biggest problem with the systems today, including driverless cars or anything else, is the fact that they don't work in rain. You can't get them out of parking lots, you can't get them out of anything. And the worst part is, it's still one brain controlling. Robotic brain, yes, better than humans no matter, but it's not perfect. Can you tell me that none of your systems have ever glitched, however perfect they are? Do you really trust your computer that much? No. Exactly. We wanted to make something that makes the human work in tandem with the machine. That's our goal. No problem.
So I think you just answered my question. So this is not a plug-in to existing systems, so you would have to actually build all of the technology into the vehicle. You're not plugging in and modifying the existing technology in those vehicles.
Now, that is also another thing that we had to address. You can put it, it is backwards compatible. You can go up to 1920s cars if you want to. Yes, that is, you do build it specifically for some cars. You test it on some, but basically it's a plug-in between, you can plug it into any car you want, any system, just seamlessly. That's the reason why we call it seamless. Yes.
Hey, I wanted to say you guys, great job. And I was, as you were leading up to the video, I was like, so there's a product. So there's a product. There's like a real product. There's a little product. So the anticipation was palpable. However, I might recommend that you lead with the video, because that is a wow moment when you see the RC car driving away from you with the box is kind of epic, and I assume that's mostly that's the prototype. That is the functional prototype.
That is a very crude prototype. We plan on going into huge software development before we actually build this. We're motivated to save lives. At the end of the day, we don't want to put a hashtag or anything besides saying like only in these conditions. We want to save your life. Period. That's it.
Yeah, and that's a very powerful message. The presentation was very polished, and you guys did a great job with that. Showing the product a little earlier might help solidify the idea a little better. Yeah. So great job with the video as well, and I would love to see, like some of the other people have started asking, so what does this do when there are other cars that have the same system, or other cars that don't have the same system? I assume if you guys are RC enthusiasts, you probably have a couple of these lying around. It'd be great to see like the traffic pattern that ensues when 15 people enter a roundabout and 4 of them have the device attached. Who survives?
Yeah. Well, essentially with this system, what we're trying to do is, of course, we have all of these sensors that look at the environment, they look at what's around them, and so that's able to fill the gaps when it's the only one on the road with that system. But also something unique with this system, we expect to introduce it in coordination with other systems so that it can communicate, tell exactly a time-by-time reference what they are doing at that moment. Are they thinking, is their foot off the gas pedal? Are they starting to turn? Are they flipping their turn signal on? So at this way, the car knows more than any human could know, and it's going to be able to make a better judgment. But at the same time, it's going to allow the human a chance to be able to make whatever decision, whatever correction they need to do. So more efficient when there's a network of cars, and that's our goal, making it universal. But without it in the beginning, we just, we have the finished product. Essentially, it's going to be around the same as every other product out there until networking starts happening.
Real quick. Love the video. Lead with the video. After the statement, now the question. Have you thought about reaching out to any of the quadcopter drone companies for smaller application, almost immediate? Because there's more and more and more drones being used for delivery of items, for newscasting, this, that, and the other. If you've got a collision avoidance system, then any person without much training could actually fly the thing, and it could be usable and keep people from dying on the ground when a drone crashes on them.
Yes, actually, that wasn't our plan, but to be honest, like we know, we're aerospace engineers, so we know airplanes have a system called a TCAS. I don't know if you've ever heard about it, but when 2 airplanes are going head to head, they actually they have a lot more freedom than on cars. So they can roll away from each other even if the pilot's asleep. So yeah, we I think they might have had something that is covered all the way, something smaller than that is used in them. But if they don't, then yeah, thank you for that. Yeah.
There's a question back here.
Yes.
I'd like to understand more about how you intend to sell the product. Is it an aftermarket add-on that someone installs? Do you sell it to automakers and they build the technology in? How does it work?
Good question. We wanted to first partner. The user is the indirect customer for us for now. We want to go and partner with all these major giants because it's the automotive industry. Nobody wants a new person in there, of course. So what we wanted to do was we want to partner with people who don't have their own technology. Audi, Mercedes, and Jaguar, Audi, Mercedes, and Volvo are huge companies. But Jaguar, on the other hand, it's a luxury brand that cannot afford to have their own say safety development, so they reach out to third-party people. So we want to go to some brands that don't even have any input get them on the map, and after that, maybe combat all these people, make some profits, then go to the aftermarket users, so that you can, if you have a loved car that you want to keep, then you can always buy our system, partner with mechanics so that they are still employed outside, stuff like that.
Thank you.
No problem.
Oh, yes. So fantastic job. It seems really, really very cool. So well done. My question, though, I guess you kind of answered it, but your, I guess, ultimate goal would be to address the issues in the developing world, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We're trying to spread across the map. See, a lot of safety technologies are bound by infrastructure, are bound, basically like the street signs, street lights. You're able to see the markings on the road. But in places like India, it's popular to have giant intersections with high volume traffic where there's no stoplight, there's no intersection lines, no nothing. And literally, you're watching it, it's amazing that people aren't, dying every second, to be honest. But yeah, so in places where there's chaos, we're looking to be able to reach out there and actually, put the flag in the uncharted territory, essentially. That's our ultimate goal.
Excellent concept, but I have a question. Let's say you have all the sensors on.
Yes.
But during a situation like an accident,
Yes.
the control is taken over by the system, I guess? The brakes and speed and steering and all that?
Yes. Unlike Mercedes and Audi and all these companies, what they do is they kind of make you a driver. They don't make a better driving community. They make better driving cars. So as a person, as a unit, we are going to lose the ability of driving over time. We're going to be shocked when we see, we used to do steering wheels. So what we wanted to do was create a better community of drivers. The system only kicks in. Suppose there's a drunk driver in the opposite lane coming towards you. The first thing that comes into your mind is not to swerve left or right. You're shocked. Within that time, when the system realizes that you can't react at all, and then it kicks in. Until then, it's not going to set you to, so that you can take your backpack or anything. It just lets you drive now.
Once the system kicks in, so it
Yes.
kicks over from
Yes.
the driver.
Yes.
So, and what is the reaction time? I mean,
It depends on each and every accident. It depends on whatever's happening. In the beginning, yes, of course, this is common. But we can make your car 75% more safer than it is right now by just introducing the system. If you're the only person in the entire world to have it in your car, because not only does it prevent you from crashing, it finds out the perfect solution. Like if you're stuck in anywhere and you are definitely going to crash, what it does is it preps you for the crash, because usually not only before the crash, even after the crash, people survive, but then the airbags deflate and they die because of the airbags. So what it does is preps you. It puts your seat back into perfect position so that when the airbags are deployed, it'll understand the speed of the car coming towards you, so it'll know where it's going to impact, and if it's going to impact there, is it going to impact your seat? Is it going to make you unstable? Should your steering wheel be down? Should your airbags be deployed or not? Everything. It's too complex to explain in one sentence.
What about total blind spots? You said it has an array of sensors, but what if it has to literally look through a dense bush or tree to be able to actually get the information to begin with?
It has 9 sensors, like we said. So basically, you can have what it does is it has 9 sensors. So what it does is, like we said, other cars and systems use 3, maybe 4 sensors at the tops that we know secretively. But our sensors, they're designed so that each of them compensates for anything. So suppose there's a bush or anything, like you said, there's a huge thing. Laser doesn't pass through it. So what we have is sonar and radars sensors that basically send ultrasonic sound so that they can recognize something and they see, okay, there's something in there. And then to reconfirm it, then the others say, we have, like I said, laser doesn't pass. So radar and sonar go through, and then they identify the product, and if it's coming at some certain speed, if it's really a viable problem, then it'll, prevent that from happening. It has a system. Yes.
How does your system analyze road conditions? Whether it's on the type of road it's on, if it's an
Yes.
intersection versus like a 2-lane road?
Sensors.
All through this.
That's it.
Okay.
Should I go next? Okay. I love what you guys got. I don't know if a lot of people are aware, but isn't it 2020 that all of our manufacturers are ready now for all vehicles being capable of driving themselves?
Driverless cars, yes.
Yeah,
but that's
exactly.
huge, like we addressed in the first question. Driverless cars, we don't see a real potential there, at least not for the next 20 years, for one reason. It's not that the manufacturers are not ready to roll out, but just think about this thing for 1 second. A driverless car with an equipped bomb going through a city, how can it detect it? That's a huge problem. That's the reason why many manufacturers are backing off from launching it, because FBI has cases running there. So there's a huge window, at least for 20 years, for that to pass through, for all that to get through. That's why we can have a pretty good set before that.
I know that it's still a target date for some, but the question that I have for you is more directed. Have you ever met Brad Okeson? He's come in here before. I'm sure Ron probably knows who he is, but are you smiling? So you know Brad?
No.
Oh, okay. Because he's already working with them all, because he's doing the remapping of a new type of digital mapping.
Yep.
It'd be interesting because a lot of the contacts you need, Brad probably has.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, we have a question from Twitter,
Okay.
and they're asking what are you say your system makes the car 75% safer, and what are you basing that on? How are you getting your numbers for that?
Basically, we really like I said, if I go into extreme detail, it'll take like at least 15 to 20 minutes. So if you have time, and we'd like to take your time off, whoever the Twitter user is, to come contact us, send us by email, and we'll send them the entire details. It's just like too complex right now to explain, at least. If he wants the technical details, then we can go into it. That's it.
We have time for one last question.
Excellent job, guys. Are you familiar with a new American car manufacturer scheduled for 2015 out of Louisiana?
No.
They're called Elio Motors, and I can connect you to the marketing people that would very much like to use your technology, I would guess.
That's great.
Yeah.
Also, if you have any financial questions, our financial director is sitting right behind you, just asking, so yeah.
Wonderful. So in the spirit, again, of 1 million cups and building communities around entrepreneurship and startups, what can we do right now to help you besides putting you in a brand new car for a soon-to-be launch? What else could we do for you?
The only thing I could ask from all of you is share 10 minutes of your wisdom. I don't want to ask something specific, because if you feel like whatever you have could benefit us, just share it with us. That's it. Just 10 minutes. That's all that we ask for.
Do you have a slide with your email address up on top again, so we can...
One click and it's there.
There we go. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Let's thank our presenter.